What many believe to be the most beautiful comic strip ever drawn was called Little Nemo in Slumberland, which first appeared as a full page in color in the New York Herald on Sunday, October 15th, 1905. It was the creation of this man, Winsor McCay. Now, more than half a century after his death in 1934, this majestic remembrance, Winsor McCay, his life and art, has been produced by the authoritative John Canemaker with a foreword by the acclaimed artist Maurice Sendak, both of whom, I'm happy to say, are with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Canemaker, what made Little Nemo in Slumberland different from all other comic strips? What made McCay an artist with an A?
Well, I think you'd have to start with his extraordinary draftsmanship. He was like no other artist of his time. I think he was one of the most extraordinary draftsmen of our century. And then the whole concept of the strip as a series of dreams that are in an Art Nouveau style that just wasn't done before. And also the way he used the panels. He had an entire Sunday page to work with, not just four little panels across the top like we do today. So he could use the entire page, and he did it imaginatively by stretching and squashing the panel sizes. And here, for example, is the Man in the Moon strip. You can see that the moon is prominently placed in the middle of the page, and that the rest of the action works around it and is laid out to correspond to that shape.
Let's take a look at the next Little Nemo strip that we have a picture of, and you will see again, well, the remarkable,
wonderful animation that's in this particular strip. Winsor McCay later became a film animator, but you can see already in this strip, which I think is from 1906 or 7, the animation within the panels.
And then in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you see everything has been a dream, and then Little Nemo wakes up at the end and falls out of bed and said it was all a dream. That's why it was in Slumberland. They were always dreams. Now, Maurice Sendak, you say in your foreword, I'm going to read this, that irrational taboos, forbidden places, terrifying creatures confront Little Nemo. They also confront children in your work a lot from the adult point of view. Is Little Nemo dream world something that children would understand more than adults, as in your books maybe children catch on to things that adults miss?
Well, I think they both probably catch on, but children are more open to taking it in and accepting it. Well, the things that John said about him as an artist are perfectly true, using the medium and forms and architectural structures that were so novel at the time. For me, what was even more novel is that he used his own head. He used his imagination, and he used his unconscious in ways that have never been used except by very few great artists who are not afraid to use that kind of material. So there is a strange world inhabiting the dream life of Nemo that Freud would have chewed healthily on for a very long time.
Now look at this. Look at this, Maurice. Talk about this, both of you. I mean, these panels look like almost Coney Island mirrors where the characters are stretched the whole length of the page.
Well, in one way they reflect McCay's history, his personal history, because he worked for a time in what were called dime museums, which are like freak shows. And they did have trick mirrors there, and this is a wonderful representation of that type of stretch and squash that come from the freak show mirrors.
It's also not so different from Carol and Alice in Wonderland.
That's right.
Which is the, this distortion of shapes and sizes where she's too small or too big. That's always in Little Nemo stuff. Strange life of the sleep world.
Every artist must be informed by the artists who went before. Are you in any way, or when you were a child, did you ever look at Little Nemo's work? Did it in any way ever reflect in your work now, Maurice Sendak?
I didn't know Little Nemo when I was a child. I never saw Nemo until I was in my early 20s, and I ripped him off instantly. I knew there was an affinity here. I knew this was the man I was going to learn from, steal from, and whose friend I was going to become. This gorgeous work, it's an anomaly. It's like, there's nothing like it that America has ever produced. And then it being produced in the form of a comic strip is amazing. I think also what is sad is because it was produced in the form of a comic strip, it has been looked down on and never quite accepted as a major art form, and he is a major artist, which he obviously is.
Well, it won't be looked down on anymore because John Canemaker has done this book, which is an elaborate, beautiful book from Abbeville called Winsor McCay.
His Life in Art.
His Life. How many years did it take you to do that book?
I would say it took 3 years in production.
Not only does it have many of the great strips, but it also has posters from his Broadway shows.
Animation.
Animation, political cartoons. You can even flip the pages and see people running around, little dinosaur.
It's the first book we've produced in the United States that seriously takes account of this man as a major artist. There have been books of the pictures. There's never been a book like the one John has written.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad we have it.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful book. And Mr. Sendak, thank you. You must have something coming out soon, I hope.
Yeah, I have a couple of things coming out.
In this fall?
The book of essays are coming out this fall.
Well, and you also have the new Grimm a year from now.
Yes.
They found more Grimm's fairy tales, and Maurice Sendak is going to illustrate them. And guess where you are going to introduce that to the American public? On the Today Show.
Thank you, Gene.
That's an invitation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both very much for being here.